Well, as Canada welcomes a new federal government and faces continued tariff uncertainty from the U.S., our next guest says one way to strengthen the domestic economy is through the greater availability of credit unions. And he believes that credit unions should be facing a somewhat relaxed regulatory environment in terms of their ability to serve customers across the country. Let's bring in Jeff Guthrie. He's Chief Executive Officer of the Canadian Credit Union Association. Jeff, thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning.
Why don't we begin with just a basic description of what a credit union is, how it differs fundamentally from a mainstream Canadian bank?
Yeah, very simply, credit unions are owned by their members. So all the profits go back to the members or the communities in which they serve. So it's really what we like to say, it's profit for people, and it goes back to the members.
Right. The banks would say we are owned by our shareholders, right. and profits in large measure go back to the shareholders in the form of dividends or occasionally share buybacks. Right. How are profit returned to credit union owners?
Really two ways. They can declare a dividend back to the members, or often what happens is they're reinvested in better services. They'll go back into community projects. The big difference is you take three parties to two. It's really the credit union and the members.
And a member of a credit union is who? An account holder, a borrower from a credit union? If you do business with a credit union, if you have your personal finances handled by a credit union, you are a member?
Absolutely. Credit unions offer the same services of the bank. So you can join with a deposit account, go to a mortgage, a loan. So we're one of the biggest supporters of small businesses and small business lending in Canada. So it's really a community-based financial institution.
What you're here to talk about today is your belief and your association's belief that it's too difficult for a credit union established in one part of the country to branch out to other provinces and serve a wider base of customers, correct?
Yeah, I mean, today there's 174 credit unions in Canada. All but 3 are provincially regulated. We have one going through what we call federal continuance, and that has become federally regulated. The biggest difference is provincially you have to deal with, your members have to be within the province, which I think in today's world, people don't really think of themselves as provincially bound. They want the ability to move across the country. So what we're really advocating with the government, let's make it easier for credit unions to serve Canadians wherever they decide to reside.
And Jeff, what is the approach that credit unions have from a lending perspective that might be different than the banks? And kind of, how do you see that either evolving or changing, or where things are going in, let's say, the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think the big difference is as a member, we really get to know you as a member. It's really about a one-on-one relationship in the community. It's getting to know, often it's generational. So it's a really much more, they look at lending less about meeting a model and more about meeting the needs of the member.
Yeah. And where do you think things, credit unions could be going over the next 5? Do you think numbers are going to be increasing?
Numbers won't be increasing. We actually see a consolidation of the sector because we need to get scale. And that's why we're advocating with the federal government to allow us a process where we can become federal and grow as the country grows and sort of be part of what's happening now is breaking down these barriers between provinces. They're holding us back, and we need the ability to grow and invest in technology because we all know that we're going to have AI and other things that are coming down the road that it's going to change our financial services experience.
Yeah. Do you see credit unions consolidating, combining? I don't know if that would take place by way of a takeover or a merger, but do you see individual credit unions getting together to form a larger institution?
Absolutely. We're seeing large consolidation within the sector. Really, if you look at it, these were community-based, sometimes bonded, what they call bonded. So the steel worker would get together and create a credit union. What we need now is a national program that allows credit unions to grow and serve Canadians from coast to coast. And that's really what, I wrote to the Minister Champagne about was let's have a system that very quickly allows us to go through a continuance process and become federally, because today we've got some credit unions topping up 6 years to go through it. And we know a shareholder would never accept a 6-year process, nor should a member of a credit union.
What are you hoping to see over the next couple of years on this front?
So what we're asking the government to do is just a very clear path. So if we're going to go from provincially regulated, I want to go to federally regulated. How long should that take? Is it a 12-month or a 24-month process? We're asking for no change in conditions. We just want a tighter time frame. 6 years is way too long, and we just need to tighten that time frame and really be in a better position to serve Canadians.
Jeff, thanks a lot for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Jeff Guthrie is Chief Executive Officer of the Canadian Credit Union Association.